Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here on our YouTube channel. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea. This is the show where we talk about those things that we love so much, movies and movie news, TV and streaming, all that good stuff. I'm joined in studio today by our technical producer, Jonathan Voico.
Good morning, everybody.
Writer, director, producer, Robert Meyer Burnett.
Well, hello there.
And most importantly, of course, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. And here's how today's show is going to go. We're going to start off by talking about a number of predetermined topics we got lined up for you guys. Then in the second part of the show is the most important. That's when we take your live comments and questions. If you have a thought, theory, opinion, or question you'd like us to address, go ahead and fire it on into the super chats in the live chat. And as long as we deem it appropriate to be addressed on the show, we'll address those in the second part of the show. All right, guys. With that all down, unfortunately, we got to start off today with some pretty sad news. The folks over at Newsweek are reporting that a beloved actor, James Van Der Beek, from Dawson's Creek and Varsity Blues fame, has died at the age of 48. James Van Der Beek, they write, best known for his role as Dawson Leary on Dawson's Creek and his breakout performance in Varsity Blues, and among other things, has died at 48 after a battle with stage 3 colon cancer. His wife, Kimberly, announced the news on Instagram, writing that he passed peacefully this morning and faced his final days with courage, faith, and grace. The couple had 6 children. He was originally diagnosed back in November of 2024. And, you know, every once in a while, I'm not comparing the value of any life, but every once in a while, you know, we hear about a Hollywood icon passing at the age of 93 or at the age of 84, at the age of whatever. And it's sad, but we celebrate a life they had and living it to the fullest and all that kind of stuff. There's a little extra note of tragedy, I think it's fair to say, Rob, when it's somebody as young as Van Der Beek. And somebody who, like, in the last, you know, at least as of a few years ago, was starting to enjoy a little bit, whether it was nostalgia based or not, a little bit of a resurgence in his popularity. He just seems so vibrant and alive. Everybody that I've ever known, I've never met James Van Der Beek, but I know several people who knew him, and they all said he was like just salt of the earth, terrific kind of guy. Again, a father of 6. And this one caught me by surprise. We literally just heard this news about 15 minutes before the show started this morning.
Look at that family. That's heartbreaking.
Oh, absolutely heartbreaking. And yeah, my goodness. What a sad piece of news to wake up to. Anyway, Rob, you hear about the passing of James Van Der Beek. What are your thoughts?
Well, you know, obviously, like a lot of people, Dawson's Creek was where I first saw him. But, you know, he was actually a really gifted, I like Varsity Blues too, but he was a really gifted actor. And I think back to the performance, he actually played Sean Bateman in Roger Avery's criminally underappreciated The Rules of Attraction that Bret Easton Ellis is based on his novel.
Right.
Sean Bateman is the brother of Patrick Bateman, who Christian Bale played in American Psycho, part of the Bret Easton Ellis verse, as it were. And The Rules of Attraction is, I thought, it's a terrific adaptation of that book, but he is, there he is. He is terrifying. His performance is just searing. And I mean, I thought that he would have gotten, you know, a lot more work. Maybe he's a great villain.
I never knew that link between Patrick Bateman. I used to love this movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The Rules of Attraction. It's one of, when I first got Blu-rays, it was one of the first Blu-rays I bought as an import. Because you couldn't get it in the United States. And I'm like, come on, Lionsgate Limited, let's put that one out. But it's sad because I really think he was a gifted performer, and you know, we're missing out on a lot of great work. But you know what? How many actors get an iconic role like Dawson?
Yeah. And some who do then get nothing else. And he was able to continue to work after that. Again, I just think it's, but I do want to bring up this picture again. I got on my screen here, Jonathan, the one you showed over. Is it just me? Or does it look like now his children are going to have to fight over the Iron Throne? That's
They look a little Tom and
that's a little
Joffrey
Targaryen there.
Yeah.
What a beautiful family.
What a look at that little girl. I mean, fuck, man. I'm trying to smile about it and everything. Like, these kids are not going to grow up without their dad. And I, you know, obviously they've still got an incredibly strong mom and things like that. And it's just look at the little girl in the front there again.
At least he had time to prepare. You know,
like,
it wasn't
how much
sudden.
joy does it look like these kids have? Again, I'm just looking at that little girl in the front. Like,
I mean, this looks like a TV series waiting to be made right here.
yeah.
What a beautiful family.
Anyway, guys, question is for you. At the news of the tragic and far too early passing of James Van Der Beek, what are your thoughts? What will you remember him most for? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right. With that down, guys, let's move on to this. You know, one of the real pleasant kind of came out of nowhere and caught us by surprise movies back at CinemaCon last year was this upcoming Amazon film with Chris Hemsworth, Mark Ruffalo, Halle Berry, Crime 101, Barry Keoghan. And it looked really good. And we had not really heard much about it up until that point. We've kind of kept our eyes on it since then. The trailers have come out. They've looked pretty solid. Well, now the full reviews are out. And they're pretty damn good. As of this recording, the critic score on Crime 101 is holding at 94%. Now, that's after about 40 or 50 reviews. I'm sure it'll go down a couple of points, maybe go up a point or two. But right now, it's hovering somewhere around 40 or 94%. Doing pretty good. And, you know, while nobody's saying this is the best movie of the year, everybody's saying this is pretty good. Here's some of the reviews that we've got here. Andrea Zamora wrote, while its plot and characters don't quite bring the story to a satisfying conclusion, it does offer what it promises, a good time and a captivating experience. The Daily Express wrote, what makes Crime 101 so good is that the heart-racing thrills are complemented by a great script full of morally complex characters. Real Views didn't quite like it. They said, while the climax does not lack for action, the overall resolution feels flaccid and undercooked. I don't like hearing that word associated with anything, Rob. Flaccid?
Yeah,
Don't like hearing that one.
Flaccid's not a word I've had to encounter much in my
Nope.
life. And I don't like it when I hear it.
Don't like seeing it applied to anything. Trip to the Movies wrote, the film is based on the novella by Don Winslow, and Bart Layton never explains the plot, the character relations, or teases what's to come. He trusts us to listen to what's being said, what's not being said, and put the pieces together ourselves. Cinephilia didn't quite like it. They said, as a heist thriller, it has a decent start with the cast led by Chris Hemsworth, Halle Berry, Mark Ruffalo, but sometimes it goes through regular zones that takes off the hook of its crime story about cops and robbers. Screen Rant liked it, saying this is a purposefully languid movie that proves real, genuine tension can be built without crash landing right in your head. In an era of fast cuts and escalating explosion, it is refreshing to watch something that's this confident on its own particular DNA. Empire Magazine liked it. They said, there's a pleasure to seeing such a starry cast in a slick cinematic thriller, but beyond that, Crime 101 offers little to remember after the closing credits. Diego Battle liked it, saying, even with its excesses and self-indulgences, its overreaching ambitions for what it essentially a thriller with a noir feel, Crime 101 has undeniable appeal. Randy Meeks liked it, saying Crime 101 is exactly the film it wants to be. A mid-budget, family-friendly movie, but meticulously crafted and polished to perfection. And the last one we'll read here is Punch Drunk Critics liked it, saying Crime 101 burns rubber from start to finish and is truly one of those compelling, smartly crafted movies for adults that don't come around too often. And you know what? Again, I think it's important to note that, like, none of these guys are saying this is going to be a Best Picture contender. Nobody's saying this revolutionizes the genre. But the general consensus to be, this is a pretty good movie. This is an entertaining movie. It sounds like they do a lot of good stuff with the script. It sounds like the action doesn't disappoint. And Rob, you know, coming out of CinemaCon and the previews we saw for it last year, I think that's exactly what I wanted to hear. Anyway, I know you've been looking forward to this movie. What do you make of the reviews you've seen so far?
Well, Don Winslow is one of my favorite I guess you could call him a California noir writer. I've been a fan of his since I first encountered his work with a book called California Fire and Life, I want to say 25 years ago. And Oliver Stone made a movie from his book Savages that Blake Lively was in.
Yep.
Taylor Kitsch was in, and Aaron Taylor Johnson. I love that film. It's got Selma Hayek, John Travolta. If you haven't seen it, it's great. When we saw this trailer, it was part of the Amazon presentation last year at CinemaCon, which I thought was really impressive.
Very impressive presentation.
Their commitment to theatrical. When I saw this, I was like, I think the name of the original novella is Broken, maybe, of that they adapted. Again, Don Winslow has written a vast, untapped wealth. A lot of his stuff's been optioned, but not a lot of it's been made. So Savages was made. Now this is coming out. I'm a huge fan of Don Winslow's work, so this is really exciting. The cast, I love this cast. Ruffalo, Halle Berry, Chris Hemsworth. It just looks great, and this is one of my favorite genres. Whether it's movies like A One False Move or Internal Affairs, or To Live and Die in L.A. or Under Deep Cover. I love crime thrillers, especially crime thrillers set in Los Angeles. I love them. Heat, obviously, being the Star Wars of all of them. But this, I can't wait. And by the way, I'm seeing it tomorrow in a double feature with Wuthering Heights. Woohoo! I'm very excited.
Interesting double feature.
I know, right? I'm going to get all thirsty, and then I'm going to see a crime thriller.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? The early reviews for Crime 101 are very strong. Like I said, as of this recording, at any rate, it was at 94%. May go down a little bit, may go up a little bit, who knows? But everybody seems to say it's a pretty solid film. I'm looking forward to watching it. How about you? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this. A lot of us don't even want to think about it, but the contract negotiated just a few years ago is about to expire, and now the actors union, SAG, and the Hollywood producers have now started their negotiations again for the next round of contract talks.
Oh boy.
That will hopefully this time not end up in another strike. This comes to us from Variety, whose headline does read, SAG-AFTRA begins studio talks amid media blackout. SAG-AFTRA is beginning to bargain with the major studios on Monday as it looks to improve on AI and streaming residual terms won during the 2023 strike. As is customary, the union and the Alliance of Motion Pictures and Television Producers are observing a media blackout so as to avoid negotiating in public, which is exactly the way it should be.
Yes.
Both sides should keep their bloody mouths shut. Don't talk in front of the cameras or their microphones. And if you are asked a question, say conversations are ongoing and leave it at that. Anyway, so I'm glad they're doing that. The talks typically begin with an exchange of proposals and then several days of study. On Saturday, the SAG-AFTRA National Board met and unanimously approved the union's proposal package. Before formulating the proposals, the union held several weeks of wages and working conditions meetings to solicit members' views. SAG-AFTRA President Sam Austin, also spent the last few months talking with members about the decline in jobs and other issues. All right. Now look, there is no question that there are absolutely some big issues on the table. Important issues to the producers, important issues to the actors union that they need to hash through and they need to come to some understanding and some agreement. But Rob, I think they also both have to understand that this is Matthew Broderick's War Games. This is mutually assured destruction. The industry, and I don't believe this is hyperbole at all. The industry cannot survive another strike right now. I'm not saying the industry can't survive another strike ever. I'm saying the industry cannot survive another strike right now. The last strikes that were both the writers and the actors, coming on the heels of the pandemic, nearly put a permanent tombstone on the industry. And they are still just kind of barely recovering from that.
Yeah.
And I think both sides have to understand going in. Like, if you were the Hollywood studios, Rob, and I was the actors union, I'm thinking we're both walking in the door and stop and saying, like, we know we're coming to an agreement, right? Like, one way or the other, we're coming to an agreement. Like, we can't, neither of us can survive another 2-month, 3-month, 4-month production work stoppage when just in the last couple of months, Rob, just the last couple of months, have we finally been starting to see the recovery that they've been hoping for so long. And we've got this terrific 2026 sitting in front of us. It would be absolute incompetent lunacy for these two sides not to come to agreement. Again, I'm not downplaying the fact that, as mentioned in the article, there are some important issues they need to get resolved. Absolutely. But both of them have to understand that pushing the nuclear button and having another work stoppage right now would be catastrophic. And I don't like using that word much, but it would be catastrophic. So I think both sides, Rob, from what I'm hearing and what I'm understanding, both sides are going in with a good amount of optimism that they're going to be able to hammer something out, even if they have to make a lot of terms temporary and seasonal and whatever until they get to the next round of negotiations in a couple of years from now. That's all fine too. But Rob, I suspect they all know this. I think they're going to come to an agreement. I don't think we're going to have to wait until November to find out that they struck such an agreement, because they both know neither side can afford a work stoppage right now. Anyway, Rob, you hearing what both sides are saying right now? The negotiations have started. What are you taking away from this?
Well, look, first of all, as you pointed out, they did a great job by keeping a lid on it.
Yeah.
But there are things happening that I've noticed. For instance, you know, my audio drama, True Noir, drops everywhere on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday. And I was positing that, you know, actors they could provide, if you wanted to like do voiceover for say you're making a YouTube video and you wanted to use an actor's voice, actors could set up individually, or have a brokerage do it, an agency do it, where they can allow their voices to be utilized. You pay a licensing fee. And I'm like, actors are going to be doing that with their likenesses. Like if you wanted, say, George Clooney to star in your commercial, you could probably get an AI a license where you could get, Clooney would have approval, but you'll be able to download his AI avatar to use. There is so much technology that is coming down the road. And my fear is that SAG-AFTRA, which is these and the Writers Guild too, are very slow to adapt to change. I don't want to see them get caught up in arguing against technology that they have no control over. And I don't want to see them, like, I'm always on the side of the actors getting paid what they deserve and getting the residuals they deserve, because they haven't been. And that's a real problem. But I also think that these negotiations, I fear, could spin out of control over the issue of AI. And in a way, rightfully so. But in another way, this is a tipping point. I think this is a real tipping point. It's going to be interesting to see how these go, because look at Los Angeles. It's a devastated city. Production has left the city. And I don't want to see the whole industry implode. But this could do that. Do we want if we have a protracted strike, it will push studios and other people into using AI in ways they weren't going to, but they would anyway. Because, well, if you can't rely on SAG to help you out, what's going to happen in the future? And I think we're at a precipice. I don't know where it's going to go, but people have to be careful. These negotiations are crucial for the future of our industry.
How do you see it going? Like, what do you think the studios are pushing for? What do you think the actors are pushing for here?
Well, look, I think the traditional modes that actors got paid, especially like, and this has been an issue with television shows. Television shows used to be paid for by advertising. And if a show was successful, like Friends, everybody got rich. But now, of course, with these streaming series, which is what everybody's watching, even though people are going to ad tiers, it comes down to, well, how much are we going to get paid? The problem is, because you only get paid once, it means the upfront costs of making movies and TV shows go way, 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 way up. Because as we all know, and we've talked about it a million times, TV shows don't make money on streaming platforms. And yet, if you have huge upfront costs, it's really difficult to justify things getting made. And, you know, everyone wants to, it's no longer, hello, Netflix, you're greenlit. You know, that world has gone away because they were spending so much money we can't sustain that. So what I worry about is how are you going to compensate actors for shows like, say, Stranger Things? I just saw Nicole Kidman's show, Scarpetta, a trailer for Scarpetta, where she plays the detective from the novels, the series of novels. I look at Reese Witherspoon and Nicole Kidman as pioneers, because Reese Witherspoon started her own book club, and then she was buying the rights to do books and getting those books so she would own them and then turning them into these TV shows that she's been making. I mean, she's incredible. It took incredible foresight, and she's an actress. She casts herself in some. She produces others. I just think the world is changing, and I don't know if SAG is ready to handle what's going to happen. And I think that I don't know, but SAG has the power to once again bring a halt to the entire industry, which we do not, as you pointed out, need. So I am trepidatious about what's happening. I mean, maybe I'll go and make more audio dramas because I pay my actors, and we pay them well. People got well paid on True Noir. I don't know, John. I'm scared. I'm kind of scared.
Yeah, I'm one of these people that I believe that actors get paid far too much at the top and not enough at the bottom. Like all the movie stars you list off. Like I'm sorry, somebody shouldn't get paid more for 6 weeks of work than a guy who does spinal surgery and helped a guy in a motorcycle accident walk again. While at the same time, other day actors are barely clearing minimum wage.
Yeah.
I've had some amongst my actor friends I don't share the popular opinion on residuals. I don't believe actors should get residuals unless it's a negotiated part of your contract to take a lower fee up front, because any job you do at home, if you leave your job, they don't continue to pay you.
Well, but the difference is that the work that was done continues to generate income. So
what? I mean, I've used this analogy before. I'll use it again. If I was opening a restaurant and I hire a local contractor to make my chairs in my restaurant, I can't make money unless my customers can come in and sit down in a chair and use that chair where I can serve them and all that kind of stuff. I don't continue to pay that. I pay that contractor hopefully well for their work and pay them for the items provided and exchange for their time and effort. But I don't pay them a $5 residual for every customer that comes in and sits in their chair, henceforth in memorandum. And by the way, out of the thousands of people who work on movies, actors often work the least on these movies. So like my question's always been, well, wait a minute, if an actor's supposed to continue to get paid for all this kind of stuff and they did less work than, say, the set designer who was there for 14 hours every day during the entire production to make sure everything on
and they don't get residuals.
Right. They don't get residuals. So like I've always been kind of torn about how that should work. But
my only pushback on that is I don't care what the chairmaker looks like, but there's only certain roles for certain actors because they have to fit a certain look, and then it's just like.
But this in Hollywood, there's still 100 other actors they could have picked to put in that role instead.
Sure.
I mean, that's the thing. And so I don't know why we deify, honestly, and I know this is weird coming from a guy who does a movie show. I don't know why we worship actors and why we deify actors and put them above everybody else. But again, my main thing is in all these contracts, when you get all these other actors who don't have the big famous names, who put in just as much work getting, I'm not saying they should get paid as much as a George Clooney, but getting paid like 1/40th of what George Clooney gets paid. I mean, those people got to get paid more.
Exactly. If you're going to take away the residual, it's sort of like if you're going to take away tips from waiters and waitresses, then you better be paying them like a lot more per hour than you do. So so the scale for actors, it needs to come way up.
I agree. At least those in the bottom half of
that's
it,
what I mean.
Those at the top. Yeah. Anyway, guys, we could devolve this into a whole 2-hour-long conversation about this. But the question is for you. What do you think about this? Quite with a lot of relief, we're hearing that the negotiations have already started and both sides have agreed we're not going to do this in front of the cameras. We're going to maintain radio silence and only talk to each other and get this deal done. That makes me very hopeful because I really just don't think the industry can survive another hit right now. Whatever you guys think about that, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this. It was with a great deal of excitement and enthusiasm that not long ago, and we talked about it here on the show, it got announced that the studio wanted to move forward and do another Mummy movie. No, not that little horror one coming out called The Mummy, but the actual Brendan Fraser Mummy series. They're going to be bringing it back, and they talked about it, and they said they're going to do it, and now it's ironclad official. This comes to us from Deadline. Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz officially set for Universal's next Mummy movie from radio silence. Pick hits theaters in the summer of 2028. They go on to write the following. Oscar winners Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz are coming back to Universal's The Mummy franchise with the next movie installment set for May 19th, 2028. Universal said on Tuesday. So basically, just a tad over 2 years from now, it's going to be in theaters. Universal had the date on hold for an event film. There are no other wide entries booked on that date. All right. It's official. They said they were doing it, but now they're actually putting out the press release. It's official, and they've got a release date. It's coming out in the early summer of 2028. I have two different sets of feelings about this. Feeling number one, I can't wait to see this. Look, did the Mummy franchise go on a slow yet deliberate decline after the first one and the fun of the first one? Yes, I don't think any of them were as good after the first one. That includes The Rock's Scorpion King movie. I don't think any of them was as good as the first one. But, Rob, these movies represent the kind of movie we just don't get anymore. It was a wannabe Indiana Jones kind of adventure. Granted, it was, but it succeeded when it first came out. It had the fun. It had the adventure. It was just a good time, and Brendan Fraser was the perfect guy to lead it. And now, of course, with him being an Academy Award winner and all that kind of stuff, everybody said they wanted to see him come back again. So here it is. So on the one hand, I'm really excited to see them do it because I don't think we get enough movies like this today. On the other hand, despite the momentum that may have been temporarily picked up because of The Whale and him winning an Academy Award, I wonder, I'm not saying I'm doubting, I'm not saying I'm enthusiastic, I'm saying I'm wondering. Are there a lot of people that are waiting for this movie? Are there a lot of people that are going to be like me and standing in line to go see this movie? Or is it going to be a very lonely line that I'm standing in?
Dude, it's going to be the Top Gun Maverick of Mummy movies, I'm telling you.
Do you really think so?
People love these movies. They really, the CG, Stephen Sommers, not my jam, but people love these movies. I think this movie, and getting Rachel Weisz back. By the way, I saw a trailer. She's in a new series where she's like a writer or a teacher, falls in love with some younger guy. I guess this is the new thing. Cougars going after younger dudes, whatever. She looks great. Brendan Fraser will probably get in tip-top shape to do this. I think people are going to go. I think people are going to see it. I think people, nostalgia alone. Because you know what? No one thinks these movies are the greatest movies in the world. They're kind of like The Last Starfighter. The Last Starfighter is a really good movie. It's not a great movie. It's not Back to the Future. It came out a year before. But people really like it. If they did a Back to the Future, a Last Starfighter sequel, even now I think people would go now that it's 42 years old. But I think people are going to go. People will come, Ray. People will definitely come.
Because when was the last one that came out?
I just tripped you out on that, didn't I?
Spot.
Did I not trip you out with that one?
Because I think the last one was 2008?
Yeah.
The Tomb of, so almost 20 years ago.
And did they make direct-to-video sequels?
I can't remember if it was Dragon, there was the Randy Couture one.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
That was a straight-to-video, home video thing. I can't remember what happened with that. But I mean, I think the one in 2008 made $400 million. But I think its box office declined.
Right.
And so I just wonder, considering the last one was out 18 years ago as of right now, by the time this thing comes out, it'll be 20 years. It'll be basically the 20-year anniversary since its opening, because it opened in July of 30th. So only a month separating it from its 20th anniversary when this one comes out. I think there's a lot of moviegoers that weren't even alive when the last one came out.
Yeesh.
So, but then again, to your point, you could also say the same thing about Top Gun. right? That when Top Gun Maverick came out, there were a lot of people in the movie going audience who weren't alive when the first Top Gun came
definitely.
out.
Because it was 80 something, right? 85, 86?
86,
Yeah. So, I mean, again, I'm not saying that this won't make any money. I'm just saying I wonder a little bit. Is this the thing? Do people think, has the I almost said Brendan Gleeson, has the Brendan Fraser assance as hot as people think it is? I love Brendan Fraser personally, but I mean, I don't know. So I'm just kind of curious about it. I hope you're right, man. I hope you're right. And this turns out great. And it's a great return to that sense of adventure that the first one gave us. And I hope it's a big hit.
I'm pulling for School Ties 2 after this.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, guys,
He's still.
what's the one where he was,
He's a teacher now.
He's a teacher now.
was it with honors? Yeah.
Yeah, with
I want to
honors.
say, I want to see with honors. All right. Questions for you guys. What do you think about this? It is now official, and we've got a release date for the new Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz returning as well for The Mummy. Are you looking forward to it? Are you going, the what? Maybe you think its time has passed, or do you think it could be like a returning big hit like Top Gun was? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, we're going to play ourselves a little round of what's more likely. The game is simple. We jumped on our YouTube channel earlier today and we asked you guys to send in a scenario for us to judge which was more likely. Jonathan's picked out a bunch and we're going to tell you which one is more likely or not. So Jonathan, what we got up first?
All right, first up, Rob.
Uh-oh.
We're going to hear from Luke Grimes. What's more likely, the Batman 2 hits $1 billion or the DCU Batman hits $1 billion?
Well, it's hard to say because I have no idea what the DCU Batman's going to be. You know, the first The Batman made what, 750 million, something like that.
Something in that neighborhood, yeah.
I think you know what? I'm just going to go with, since it's more of a known quantity. I think that
772.
What's that?
772.
772. I think the Batman 2, you know, Twilight Boy did well. And he's, between everything he's done since then, even the movie he just did with Jennifer Lawrence, I think it's going to hit $1 billion. I think it will. And if he comes up, if the Batman 2 is the Dark Knight, you know, and it follows in the heels of what Batman Begins and then the Dark Knight did, I could see the film if it's a total banger. But I have no reference to know what the DC Universe Batman's going to be. But I don't think it's going to make $1 billion. I think the Batman 2 probably would.
I don't think the Batman 2 makes $1 billion, but I do think it can meet or exceed what it already did. I'm going to go with you on this. I think it's more likely the Batman 2, strictly because it's already had the first film out.
Yeah.
It's already laid groundwork. It's already now has an audience because it was already there. The first film was already successful. Whereas I think when the DCU rolls out its Batman, it's going to be in a wait and see kind of stage,
right,
like the Batman was, the first one. I think it's going to do well. I think people are going to come out and give it a chance. And then if it does well, then its second film could be even bigger. But Robert Pattinson's Batman's already had that first film and has that advantage.
And the
has laid
Penguin
that
series
groundwork.
as well.
And the Penguin series is just built on the popularity of it. So because of those huge advantages and head starts, I got to say it's much more likely that the Batman 2 does better than the DCU's first Batman film. All right, what's next?
All right, we're going to hear from the Jim McSee. John, going over to you. What's more likely to be an underestimated hit this summer? Masters of the Universe or Mandalorian and Grogu?
Masters of the Universe. Now, again, I don't particularly think either one of these films are going to be $700 million films. I'm not saying that. But if you're talking about surprise hits, dude, all year, not many people have been given any chance to Masters of the Universe.
Nope.
I mean, usually the response to Masters of the Universe is a snicker or a chuckle of some sorts, right? I don't really think you can call a potential Star Wars movie as a surprise. I think people are going to be surprised by how little it makes. I hope I'm wrong. I hope the movie's awesome. I always cheer for Star Wars, but I'm just being realistic right now. I don't think it's going to do that particularly great. Whereas Masters of the Universe, I think, is poised to surprise a lot of people. So I'm going to say, don't know if either of them will be any good, but I think the one that's positioned to surprise people the most is probably Masters of the Universe. Rob, what about you?
I think 100% you're correct. look, I think that there's a huge fan base for Masters of the Universe that wants to see a film. Look, all they've ever had in live action is the 1987 version, which has its charms. I really love Frank Langella's Skeletor in that movie.
He was great. Yeah.
And Robert Duncan McNeil and Courtney Cox and all that. There's a lot of fun stuff in that movie. But I really think, again, #trust Travis. I think that Travis Knight is going to bring something that it's going to be unexpected. I think when we see the second trailer, it's going to amp up the excitement. And I really like the look of the film, and bring it on. I think it's going to surprise people.
All right. What's next?
All right, Rob, we're going to go back over to you. We're going to hear from Sean J. Merchant, who says, what's more likely, the Odyssey will be Nolan's best film, or the Odyssey will be his highest grossing film?
I think it's more likely it would be his best film rather than his highest grossing film. Only because, again, the subject matter. You have to overcome the subject matter in the minds of the people. If it turns out to be a rousing, fantastical adventure, but I think the subject matter also lends itself more to like an Academy Award kind of a film. Even though it's a fantasy, the idea of a man, of Odysseus, trying to take his troops home and get there and stop those suitors from stealing his wife away, it has more Academy Award tendencies in it. It's more of a human story, if it makes any sense, than say the Batman, the Dark Knight is. So I think it has more potential to be his best film than it does to be his highest grossing film.
I'm going to go opposite from you on that. I think it's much more likely that it'll be his highest grossing film. Why? Because I think the bar to be his best film is much higher than the bar is to be his highest grossing. Because Christopher Nolan's highest grossing film is just a hair over the $1 billion mark.
Right.
And I think you and I both agree Oppenheimer has the potential to be in the $1 billion club.
You mean the Odyssey?
I keep saying the Oppenheimer, the Odyssey, which is another one. But by the way, Oppenheimer, a period biopic, almost made $1 billion.
Well, the one thing about him that you can never underestimate is C-Note is a genre unto himself. That guy, people show up. I mean, if Gen Z has a voice of their generation in the movies, it's Christopher Nolan. Because Gen Z grew up with his movies. If you were born in like 1999, you got to grow up watching. You got Batman Begins in 2005, and then from there, all he's ever done is released banger after banger. You went back and you have The Prestige, you have Inception, you have Interstellar, which is massive with Gen Z. Interstellar is Gen Z again. I think Gen Z, if you would ask them what is their favorite movie, like when people get into college students right now, a lot of them would point to something like Interstellar because of how much it means to them. And so people show up for him. They don't care what the movie is.
But so again, my thing is the bar to be his best film.
Right.
When you've got The Dark Knight, when you've got Oppenheimer, that won Best Picture at the Academy Awards.
Which I really think is an
when you have films like Interstellar, my favorite Christopher Nolan film is still Insomnia. Like the bar is just way here, whereas the bar to be his highest grossing isn't that high. So I think it is much more likely that that the Odyssey will be his highest grossing film rather than his best film.
Makes sense.
All right, what's next?
All right. Gonna go back to you.
Either
John.
way, we win, John.
Either way, the audience wins.
Back to you, John. We're gonna hear from Lost Anchor Films, who said, or just Lost Anchor, who says, "What's more likely? We get an official Doomsday trailer first, or Doom 3 official trailer? They should release them on the same day."
They should.
I mean, if they really want to lean into this Doomsday thing, they really should release them at the same time.
And they should promote the hell out of that.
Oh, they absolutely should.
Doomsday, as a matter of fact, they should do a combo trailer.
Yeah, but one of them has to come before the other, so then it gets dicey.
No, you intercut them.
You do two versions of it, and you put them
do
up.
individual trailers.
But let's go with the assumption that they probably aren't going to do that. I do think they will do some. I really do think they will do some joint marketing between now and December. I just think for what they have at stake, Marvel needs it a little more. And I think they've already shown that they're willing to start up the marketing engine earlier. I honestly don't think we're going to see Dune get its first trailer release prior to June. I really don't think we
I
will.
do.
I don't think we will. But I do think we'll get an Avengers full trailer prior to June. I mean, look, there's a possibility they may give us a first look at Dune 3 at CinemaCon. Actually, there's probably a very good chance they give us that. But I'm going to say it's more likely because of what they've already shown that Avengers Doomsday will be the one to have its first full official trailer come out before Dune 3 does. Rob, what about you?
I think they're missing a monstrously huge opportunity if they don't have a Dune 3 trailer in front of Project Hail Mary. Because they're both literary
Which is
sci-fi
just what,
works.
in like 3 weeks?
It's
3 or
it's
4
the
weeks?
20th of
March.
March.
Right, so it's
I think because that is a big budget sci-fi, same audience, literary adaptation, and I think that would be that's when I would think it would happen. I don't know about Doomsday, but by the way, I would give it, from the time both of those trailers exist on the internet, I will give it 3 hours until somebody has made a Doomsday trailer intercutting the two. As soon as those trailers are online.
I'm just gonna have one layered and then the other a little foggy on, like, just to take the opacity down, and then just play it.
I'm gonna intercut them as if the characters are all existing in the same the same thing.
Well, I was doing the lazy man's one. I just make the opacity down and just drop it over each other.
All right.
Boss Logic's got to do me an animated end thing.
Let's move on here. What's next?
John doesn't like it. Rob, Peter Bubayer says, what's more likely to be the better Marvel show, Vision Quest or Spider Noir? That's kind of interesting.
You know what? I'm going to say Vision Quest, and I'm going to leave it at that.
There you go.
Yeah, look, don't get me wrong. I think there's some really interesting potential in Spider-Man Noir.
I do too.
I think there's some really interesting potential there. But that's what it is right now. It's interesting potential. I think we've seen what Terry Matalas can do. We know this is a great character. It's coming off the heels, really spinning itself out of Disney's best Disney Plus show, WandaVision. So I just think there's a lot more there. There's a lot more reason to believe that the better chance. I mean, look, they both could be awesome. Maybe Spider-Man Noir surprises and it's maybe the best show of the year. Who knows? But as of right now, because of all the things I already mentioned, I just think it's more likely that Vision Quest ends up being the better of the two.
Well, and we're getting the trailer tomorrow.
We're getting a Spider-Man Noir trailer tomorrow. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see.
My only thing, John, is that Vision Quest is a full-on MCU production, and Spider-Man Noir, while I love the Into the Spider-Verse movies, it's a live-action Spider-Man movie that isn't Spider-Man proper. And I keep thinking about Madam Web, and I keep thinking about Morbius, and I keep thinking about.
But then again, so was Across the Spider-Verse.
That's true, but that's animated.
But still,
I know.
it's a spin-off Spider-Man.
I
thing,
want
and
them both
it turned
to be
out
great.
great. So we'll see.
We
All
got
right, what's next?
We're gonna finish off with this last one. This is going back to you, John. We're gonna hear from Dean Talks Movies. What's more likely? The Mummy 4 will have the highest box office income out of all the movies.
I think the highest grossing Mummy movie was like $440 million. I don't think this movie makes $440 million. Now, come back and ask me that question again once we've seen the first trailer for it, like sometime in late 2027, early 2028. Ask me again then. But for now, I don't know if I see this making $440 million. So I'm going to say it's more likely that it does not become the highest grossing Mummy movie. Rob, what about you?
I don't know. You know what? I've got to go. I'm going to say it will.
Okay.
I'm going to bet on the nostalgia bait. I'm going to bet on the fact that they're going to make this a cause celeb. And I'm not even a guy that loves the Mummy movies. I'm just saying, I think, in this day and age, they'll pump a lot of it into the marketing, and they'll make it a big. And you know what? The directors, Radio Silence, I love these guys. And I think that they're going to turn out something that's going to be fun.
All right. And that will wrap up today's session of What's More Likely. Thank you to everybody who sent in those scenarios for us. Keep your eyes open on the YouTube channel when we put out our next call for submissions. And maybe you'll see your submission on our next round of What's More Likely. All right. With that down, guys, let's move on to this. Death, taxes, video game movies suck. They were the 3 immutable laws of the universe. And then a funny thing happened a couple of years ago. Some video game adaptation stuff actually started to turn out to be pretty good. I mean, just recently we've had Fallout. We cannot wait. Sonic was pretty damn good. I like the Sonic movies. We've got the God of War thing coming, and more just keep getting announced. Well, today, they officially announced a new one. Bunch of my friends play the hell out of this game.
Great.
Helldivers. According to Deadline, Jason Momoa is now set to star in a Helldivers video game live action film with Justin Lin, director of Fast 5 and 6, is going to be directing the film. This is what they write at Deadline. Jason Momoa will star in PlayStation Productions and Sony Pictures film adaptation of Helldivers based on Arrowhead Game Studios' video game franchise. Justin Lin will hem the pick, and it will hit theaters on November 10th of 2027. So a year and a half from now, this thing's going to be in theaters. The game debuted in 2015, and the sequel, Helldivers 2, sold more than 12 million units across PS5 and PC in the first 4 months after its launch in 2024. The game recently expanded to Xbox and continues to perform. Helldiver 2's story centers around an elite unit of soldiers known as Helldivers who must battle alien creatures threatening to destroy the fictional planet of Super Earth, which sounds a lot like 80% of other video games out there, but whatever. I've never played Helldivers, but again, my buddies, they play it and they love it. They absolutely love it. So, all right. Rob, we got Jason Momoa, who we're just hot off of watching him in The Wrecking Crew, which was a surprise delight for me. I really enjoyed Wrecking Crew. And he's teaming up with Justin Lin, who's going to be directing it, which I think is a really neat choice to direct it as well. Listen, I don't know if this is going to be the next Last of Us, a show that gets nominated for Best Drama Series at the Emmys every year. I don't know if this is going to be the next Fallout, another video game show that gets nominated. I don't know if this is going to be as good as God of War or whatever. Maybe it'll suck, but I love the person they got to lead it, and I love the person they got in the director's chair. I think it's a really good choice. Anyway, Rob, you heard about this. What's your takeaway?
Hell yeah. I mean, look, Justin Lin made Fast 5, dude. That's all I can say. And I know he made Star Trek Beyond. I don't hold that against him. But
I really like Star Trek Beyond.
I know. He was well done. He was well directed. He was definitely not the problem. I think this is going to be fun. Helldivers is basically Starship Troopers. So yeah. What's not to love? Bring it on. I think this is going to be a great time at the movies. I can't wait to see it. And I'll be first in line with bells on.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this news? Helldivers is getting a movie treatment from Justin Lin, the director, and Jason Momoa is going to be leading, and it's coming out next year, so you don't even have to wait all that long for it. Whatever you guys think about it, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, oh God, man, I'm just got God of War now on the brain, dude. The greatest showrunner in television history is writing and directing it, or show running the whole damn thing, and the cast is fantastic, and God, I can't wait. Anyway, all right. With that all down, guys, let's move on to this, shall we? For those of you who didn't know, there's a Supergirl movie coming out. And it's coming out soon. Just a few months away now. Before we get it, we've already gotten a teaser and then a full-blown trailer. We even got a little extra look at it at the Super Bowl, all that kind of stuff. It's on its way. And I, for one, am very much looking forward to it. I loved Superman. I thought the new James Gunn Superman was absolutely fantastic. It didn't replace Man of Steel as my all-time favorite Superman movie, but I still loved it. I thought it was great. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with Supergirl. Well, by far, the most requested story I got asked to cover today, as I perused over to my inbox, were reports of test screenings that have gone on for Supergirl. And apparently the reactions to these test screenings are great. And we're going to go through them. But should we even listen to them? And does it really even mean anything? That's a secondary question. We'll get to that in a minute. First, let's take a look at what some of these supposed reactions to the test screenings of Supergirl have been. This comes to us from comicbookmovie.com, who wrote, according to Axel Talks Films, the cinematography is quote-unquote an upgrade compared to Superman's, and there's an action-packed hallway scene that is said to be as good as those seen in Daredevil and Guardians of the Galaxy 3. That hallway scene in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was so good. Goes on to write, Supergirl also has a darker tone than Superman, with a story that focuses on human trafficking and a lot more violence. Overall, though, there's said to be a perfect balance of humor, darkness, and lightness. Other interesting tidbits include the redesigned Krem of the Yellow Hills being extremely menacing and tremendous villain. Meanwhile, Jason Momoa's Lobo is said to have a substantial role that is, quote-unquote, crucial to the ending. All right. What do I think about these reactions? Great. Always good to hear. Good. I'd rather hear good things about a movie than bad things about a movie. And these are all unequivocally good. Some might even say these are great. Fantastic. I am somebody who believes that this movie is going to be quite good. I do. I believe it's going to be really good. I don't know that for a fact, but I believe it's going to be quite good. Now, before I'm going to say what I'm going to say next, Rob and Jonathan and all of you watching at home, you can testify to the fact that I am not a DC hater. I am not an anti-James Gunn guy whatsoever. I'm quite pro James Gunn, as a matter of fact, and I cheer for this cinematic universe. I do. So I'm not meaning to rain on anybody's parade, but this means nothing. This means less than nothing.
Oh.
Because of two things. First thing is this. I am dubious as to even that the people saying these things even saw it. There is absolutely nothing to back up that any of these people actually saw a test screening of Supergirl. Nothing. There's not one iota of evidence anywhere that says that these are legit and that they've actually seen it. Okay? That's just got to be said. It's got to be said. This has not been verified by anybody from the studio. This has not been verified from anybody from the cast. This has not been verified from any of the agencies at all. So that is a big grain of salt you got to keep in mind. The second thing is, even if these people saw a screening of Supergirl, and I did reach out to somebody I know, and there have been test screenings of Supergirl. Even if these supposed people were actually at those screenings, okay, let's for the sake of discussion say they were. Okay. It still doesn't mean anything. One random person who, for all you know, flips burgers at the local Burger King and has seen 7 movies in the last 8 years said, oh, it's a really good hallway fight. Who cares? It doesn't mean anything. And again, lest any of you try to, John's just trying to be negative. You guys know I'm very pro DC. I'm very pro James Gunn, and I'm very pro this movie. But that doesn't mean I turn off the brain switch and say, well, somebody I've never heard of and I can't verify who they are says they saw a movie and they say they like it, and I have no idea what their movie tastes are. For all I know, they fucking loved Kraven the Hunter, and they thought Kraven the Hunter was the greatest movie of all time.
Well, now, come on. You were excited for Kraven the Hunter.
I was excited.
Me too.
Shut in my mouth. But like, for all I know, this guy saying this, he thinks Kraven's the greatest. The point is, I don't know. You don't know. So it means nothing. Some random person that nobody's ever heard of says, it had a pretty good fight scene. Now, am I doubting that the movie's any good? I'm not saying I'm doubting that the movie's any good. I have high belief in it. I do. I just want us to base our enthusiasm and base our excitement on things that are real and tangible. Now, would I rather hear reports coming out of supposed test screenings that are positive than negative? Of course. Sure. Yes. I'm just saying, let's reel it in a little bit. Let's not get too excited or carried away about this, because number one, there's nothing saying that these reports are even legitimate. And number two, even if they are, who the hell cares? Some rando nobody says they like something. Well, who cares? Give me 700 people saying that same thing, then you'll catch my attention. And again, I am not trying to be negative. I'm simply trying to be balanced here. Anyway, Rob, you saw the reports of these supposed Supergirl test screenings. First of all, what do you think about what is being said? And then what are your thoughts? After that, what are your thoughts on the validity of them or not?
Well, I have to say that I was underwhelmed by the trailer that they released. But the one thing that has had me about this movie is our central actress, Millie, here. Our young Millie, I think she's killing it in every scene she's in. I love
She's going to be great.
I love her line delivery. I love where they're taking this character and the whole idea of, losing. We're going to see, I guess, the destruction of Krypton in this movie, which I think is interesting because we didn't see that in Superman, which is good. And seeing it we've never seen the destruction of Krypton from anyone else's perspective. And I love her performance. So I'm already in on this movie simply because of the way she's playing the character and the way the character is being portrayed. You can tell she's going to deliver she's going to be front and center, and it's going to be great. And Momoa as Lobo, I love the original story, Woman of Tomorrow, that it's based on, the Tom King story. And I think what they're doing, it's a great story for her to be involved in. And there's a reason why this is the second DCU movie or DCEU movie or whatever. James Gunn's not stupid. He could have picked anything. He could have made the second movie Batman or Wonder Woman or Aquaman. He could have done anything, but he decided to follow up his own movie with this because he said, if the script is good, and that's where I'm going. I think that there's a reason why we're getting this second. And it's because the script was good. They found a great actress. I love the casting of Momoa. And of course they're smartly following up Crypto in this movie.
I like the director too, by the way.
Absolutely. So everything about this movie screams that it's going to be a crowd-pleasing hit to me. So it is not surprising to hear at a test screening that it's good, because I expected it was going to be good. I mean, look, we're so used to thinking that Superman, Superman, but like all the DC movies are not going to be good, and that they're going to be disappointing. But we have a visionary in James Gunn, but he's also hiring other people and other screenwriters that aren't him to lead the way.
Yeah.
And so he was able to put his trust in other people because, look, people are going to forget the franchise right now. The entire DC universe is going to be judged on this movie. And for the time being, that's what they're going to see. And James Gunn did not want to make his sophomore effort a slump, and I think this movie's going to knock it out of the park. I suspect it's going to be way better than even these first, if they're real or not, missives are saying. I think this movie's going to be great.
Do you believe what's being said?
I do, because they're kind of specific things. They're generic, but they're also specific. Like I don't expect people to come out and give me a dissertation on Kara Zor-El's, her character, but somebody saying, yeah, there's more violence and Momoa is awesome and he's not just a cameo. Yeah, man. It sounds genuine. These are the things that people seem to me like they would say, like a guy flipping burgers at Burger King.
Well, I suppose too, a hallway scene if there's no hallway scene like Guardians of the Galaxy, we're going to know this was a big lie.
Yeah.
Right? It was a very specific thing that has to take,
And by the way, no disrespect to flipping burgers. I flip burgers at Harvey's. Harvey's makes a hamburger a beautiful thing, ladies and gentlemen. Best fast food hamburgers in the world. Anyway, guys, question is for you.
That can't be true.
What? Oh, believe me, it's true. Like, I'm not the best burgers in the world, but the best fast food burgers, I think. The Harvey's out of Canada, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think about this? Listen, I am excited for Supergirl. I am. I'm just not going to base any of my excitement on this. But maybe you are. Whatever you think about these reports, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, it's time for us to move on to the most important part of our show, which is, of course, taking your live comments and questions. But before we do, we're going to take a quick second to bid good afternoon to writer, director, producer Robert Meyer Burnett. Great job as always, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
Talk to you tomorrow.
Yes, you will.
And we're going to take a quick moment, pay some of the bills by thanking the sponsor of today's episode of the John Campea Show, our friends at Mando. We want to take a second to thank the sponsor of today's video, Mando. Hey guys, I may be married now, but I remember the whole checklist we'd all go through before a first date, right? Fresh haircut, clean car, maybe you're replaying a conversation in your head like, don't screw this up. But the one thing that is absolutely non-negotiable deodorant. And that's why for a while now, I've been using Mando. What I love most is how confident it makes me feel knowing odor is just handled, like not masked, handled. Mando is a whole body deodorant, so you can use it anywhere. Pits, feet, thighs, wherever you need it. And yeah, that peace of mind is real. My personal favorite is the solid stick. It's super easy to use, goes on clean, and it just works all day. It's created by a doctor, and it's clinically proven to control odor for up to 72 hours, which is wild. Some guys try to cover odor with scent. Mando men get the job done right. Don't mask it, Mando it. You can find Mando at major retailers, but for the best deal, head to shopmando.com. For a limited time, new customers get 20% off site-wide plus free shipping when you use my code Campea at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com, code Campea. Support the show and check them out. Mando's got you covered. And thank you to our friends at Mando for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show. All right, guys, with that down, let's get on to the important stuff. Your live comments and questions. Just so you know, we did turn off the super chats a little while ago because they had filled up, but they will be turned back on again tomorrow, so you can send in more questions then. But for now, let's get to the questions that did get sent in. Jonathan, what we got up first?
First up, we got Pasha, who says, I love Daniel Craig, but he's my least favorite James Bond. He never uses any gadgets, not snarky enough, and doesn't have all the ladies. Not a super spy.
Oh, I disagree with you on every single front. I think that's why he is my actual favorite James Bond. And I think it's because, you know, I think most Bond fans will agree. Rob and I have had this discussion before that while there have been several Bonds, there are two main Bond archetypes. You have the suave James Bond, which is best represented by Roger Moore. And you have the bradass James Bond, best represented by Sean Connery. And I just think Daniel Craig was the first one to really, and almost every James Bond has fallen into one of those two categories. Daniel Craig, to me, was the first James Bond that kind of amalgamated both. He had the badassness of Connery. He had the suaveness of Moore. And I think he had all of that and more. So that's why he's still my personal favorite James Bond so far. All right, what's next?
Jake Clark says, thoughts on Fallout Season 2 and the Burbs show. I didn't know there was a Burbs show.
Just started. Just came out. Ann and I added it to our queue. We haven't started watching it yet. But I like, what's her name again? Kiki Palmer?
Yeah.
I really like her. And I haven't started watching Fallout Season 2 yet. I'm still behind on it. I love Season 1, but I've never gotten around to watching Season 2 yet. All right, what's next?
Dan Barker, two-parter, says, hi, John, huge fan. I'm in the UK and listen on my commute every morning.
Oh, thank you, man.
I get up at 4 a.m. now just to listen now, so I live closer to work. Quick thought, I found an online game called Fantasy Box Office. Fantasy football, but for box office predictions. Thought it could be fun for you all to try as a league or even a short segment.
You know, there have been several of those. There have been several things like that, including... we had one of our own viewers, I think Fanimation had one as well. And there have been others. So those things are out there and they exist. I remember trying our Fanimation guy one. And I really enjoyed that one, but I haven't really gotten into the other ones, but yes, that one's out there too, but there are a few others as well. All right, what's next?
G-Mash says, hey, John, hope all is well. Was wondering if you would ever come to Tallahassee, Florida for a movie meetup.
No, probably not, to be honest with you. If I'm going to get as far out as Florida, like we already did Orlando. And I think if we do hit Florida again, it is much more likely that the next one would be Miami. So it probably don't see us doing a Tallahassee one, unfortunately. That's no shade on Tallahassee, but... I mean, there's a lot of states
Logistics.
and we've already done one and it's a long ways to go. So I think if we do hit Florida again, the next one up will probably be Miami.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Suthius, yes, says, I really hope we get an F1 sequel in a sense that I hope we get a Sonny Hayes trilogy. That's what I want, more of his racing adventures.
Yeah, now listen, there's some misinformation kind of being decimated inadvertently, accidentally. Some misinformation being spread around out there. You might have seen some headlines today saying, it's official, F1 sequel is coming. It's not. It's not. It is not official at all. What has happened is that Jerry Bruckheimer has done another interview where he once again said that they're working on a sequel. But you guys, if you watch my show regularly, you know that about 2 months ago, he made the exact same comment in another interview that we talked about it. But no such movie has been greenlit. They're simply putting some ideas together. They're working on it. That much is true. But unfortunately, I think some outlets have seen Bruckheimer say, oh, they're working on it. Oh, it's official.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not. It's not. What is true is that they're kind of working on it, but no, there has not been a green light to an F1 sequel or anything like that. Do I think there will be one? I do. I mean, this one, I think, was Apple's #1 streamed movie. It made over $600 million at the box office. Yeah, and it was beloved, and it's nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards. So yeah, there's going to be a second one. Just be clear, it is not official yet. They have not officially greenlit.
They're still working on the contract with Tom Cruise to appear.
and everybody else.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Josh Ward, Disney opts to spoof a beer commercial, yet we still didn't get Grogu eating one of the Budweiser frogs. Man, that's a throwback. That somehow makes the decision even worse.
I totally forgot about those.
Budweiser.
You know what that was? Look, if you're going to do the stupid clippity-cloppity,
Yeah.
you might as well have him eat one of the frogs.
Yeah.
So first of all, it was dumb what they did. And if you're going to do the dumb thing, at least do it right. And they didn't even do the dumb thing right. Anyway. All right, what's next?
Do the dumb thing right. Caden, being a theater snob, I drive 3.5 hours for my IMAX of choice.
Wow.
Dude, that's 7 hours round trip. That said, tell us about Doomsday, John, or I'm old yeller in your effing universe.
Come on now. I don't have rabies. Yeah, man, I'll tell you what. There is one spoiler that I want to give everybody so bad. And here's the thing that's killing me. When I see so much, and this one spoiler that I think is the mother of all spoilers for it.
Yeah, it's the one where all like the sword of Damocles, we hope someone doesn't drop it online.
They're going to. See, this is the thing. I'm sitting back here not saying anything and watching as slowly but surely information about the movie has been coming out. And I'm sitting here not saying anything. And it's killing me that at some point, somebody is going to drop this mother of all spoilers. This ultimate what the holy hell moment that's going to happen in Doomsday. It's not like the whole movie hinges on it, but it's going to get the biggest reaction.
Yeah.
And I did tell Jonathan about it.
Yeah, I know.
And it just sucks that I'm sitting on it and not saying it. And I want to so badly because you are going to hear it. I mean, that's the thing. At the rate all the details are coming out, it's going to be out. And it's going to be public before the summer. And I just wish it could be from me, but it's not going to be from me, but you will hear it at some point. And the moment you hear it, you're going to go, I'll bet anything that's what Campea was talking about. But yeah, but I want to share it so bad because I want to talk about it so bad. Anyway, all right, what's next?
It's like Ren with a shiny red button. Must hit the button.
Don't hit the shiny red button. Anyway.
Wayne. Yes. Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie is a Canadian. Oh, it's a mockumentary film.
Yeah, a buddy of mine emailed that to me yesterday. I'd never heard of it.
Yeah, and he says it's hard to explain, but the trailer looks incredible.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, somebody wrote in about that yesterday, and it hit us as very confusing. We didn't know what they were talking about. That's what they were talking about. All right, what's next?
Amin says, how does a potential F1 sequel get affected by the Netflix deal? Since Apple partnered with WB for the first film, would WB still be involved?
Warner Brothers is the distributor. That's it. Apple produced the movie, Warner Brothers distributed, and Warner Brothers, whether they get bought by Netflix or not, they're still Warner Brothers, and they will still be the distributor. If their contract extends for possible sequels, it won't affect it at all. It'll have zero impact on it whatsoever. All right, what's next?
Excuse me. Miguel says, if we don't get the official Brand New Day trailer by the end of March, do you think Sony will just hold off and wait for CinemaCon?
I want to say yes, but the reality is April is cutting it a little bit close for dropping the first trailer.
Yeah, that's 3 months.
Mid-April, not even the beginning of April.
Right.
Mid-April. I think the Sony presentation is like April 14th. So, no, I don't. Now, I think there's a chance that one of these two mystery industry screenings is going to be Spider-Man Brand New Day. Because Disney, Sony's the distributor, but Disney is the production company. They have shown us full film, like not just a couple years ago, they showed us Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
Months before it came out in theaters. So I have a feeling that could be one of them, but no, I really don't think they're going to wait till mid-April to drop the first Spider-Man trailer. I think we're going to get it a lot sooner than that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what's next?
Wayne says over under 2 Beatles songs in Project Hail Mary. I go under, if any. They're notoriously some of the most expensive to license.
Yes, but I can't remember. Have you read the book?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Is it integral?
The Beatles are a part of the movie.
Ugh, boy, that makes it expensive.
I will still say the over-under number should be 1.5.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take the under. I'll say one Beatles song to honor the fact that the Beatles are very prominently referenced. You'll see in the movie as a part of this movie. And a very important part of the movie, as a matter of fact. So I think maybe one, but I don't think two. So I'll say one.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Josh Ward, you recently said Daniel Day and T. Shammy had 2 of the best acted scenes ever. My pick is Robert Shaw's USS Indianapolis scene. Subtle haunting, perfect. No, I love that monologue. It's wonderful.
Which one are we
Jaws. In Jaws.
Oh my God.
When he's
However
talking
many
about
men went into the water that day.
They have those eyes.
That was a whew, that might be the MVP moment of Jaws. It's a great moment. I mean, but I'm talking about overall performances.
Yeah.
Like Daniel Day-Lewis, and I don't think Timothée Chalamet has one that's like it yet either. So it's not. You set the Timothée Chalamet stuff aside. No performance has ever come close. I still believe that Daniel Day-Lewis's performance in There Will Be Blood, which is not the greatest movie of all time, but I believe that is the single greatest performance ever of all time. Because when we're talking about the whole performance of the whole movie, not just a single scene here and there. Yeah, Timothée Chalamet's War Council scene in Dune 2. Like, come on. That is world-shaking, that one. But I'm talking about overall performance, and that's why I go with Daniel Day-Lewis. Mm-hmm. All right, what's next?
Suthia says, is Cretin the new darling for Marvel Studios and Feige? Shang-Chi, Wonder Man, and Spider-Man, any other projects he's attached to that you guys know of?
Lest you forget, before he took on Spider-Man, do you remember what the next movie he was supposed to do for Marvel was? A little movie called Avengers Kang Dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
He was the guy they picked to do the next Avengers movie. Now, then they made the wise decision to pivot away from Kang, which kind of took away everything Detson was going to do. And they handed him Spider-Man. Yeah, he's kind of becoming the next golden kid over at Marvel. Now, let's see how well he pulls off Spider-Man Brand New Day. But if he nails it, then he will have done Shang-Chi, which is one of the best films they've done since Endgame. Wonder Man, which is one of the best Disney Plus Marvel shows they've done, and picking up with Spider-Man. I mean, if he does it, he's absolutely the it kid in the halls of Marvel for sure. All right, what's next?
Luis says, I feel a lot of films today are made for people with short attention spans. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing, but it's frustrating when the point of view keeps changing every couple of seconds. Thoughts?
That's never not been the case. It's never not been the case. I mean, yeah, from year to year, you get different trends in editing styles and stuff like that. But really, overall, I really don't think it's any different now than it's ever been. To be honest, that's just kind of my take on it. And by the way, it may feel like there are more of those kinds of movies now, but if it does feel the way, then it's primarily because more movies get made today than in any other time in history. So I mean, it's just they're not being shot in the United States. But yeah, I don't think that's true overall. That's just my perception of it at any rate. All right, what's next?
We got Pianio who says, good morning from Japan. Will Disney release the first Doomsday trailer exclusively at the opening weekend of Mandalorian to maximize box office?
I don't think so. No. I don't think they're going to wait that long. When is the release of Mandalorian,
Yeah,
by
I was
the way?
just looking it up.
Yeah, pull that up. Because if it's... I honestly can't remember when it's... That's how disconnected I am
It
from
is
Mandalorian and Grogu.
May 22nd.
Yeah, I don't think they're waiting till May 22nd to drop the first trailer. That's a good time frame, but I really don't think the end of May.
Yeah.
We're talking about like waiting another 3 months for the first trailer. I don't think they're going to wait that long. I mean, I think that would be a perfectly good time frame to do it, but I don't think they're waiting that long. So no, I don't think they're going to do that.
We got Luis who says, "Hey John, knowing James Gunn's love of animals in his films, do you think we might see Lobo interact with space dolphins in the new Supergirl film?
No.
Is that a thing in DC, like with Lobo?
I don't remember them myself, but it totally sounds like something that would be a part of the universe. But no, I don't see them doing that. But it isn't James. Look, if James Gunn was directing the film, maybe. But remember, he's not directing this film. He didn't write this film. He didn't direct this film. So I'm going to say no. All right, what's next?
Hello Lord gives some support. Thank you. And then Wayne says, will there still be a live stream about how the movie will adapt Project Hail Mary, where we can talk book spoilers?
I don't know. Like we had floated the idea before about having a Project Hail Mary open spoiler discussion for those of you who have read or listened to the book, like before the movie ever comes out. I don't know. You know what? It would be fun to then theorize amongst other people who've read the book and listened to the book about what elements they're going to keep in the book, what elements they're going to take out, what elements they may change. You know what? Yeah. We are still going to do it. I don't know when, maybe in the next week or two, maybe in 3 weeks, but yes, we'll do it before the movie comes out. There you go. We will.
All right.
Just stay tuned for when we announce when we're going to do it.
We got a $20 super chat from James Wheeler.
Oh, thank you, James.
Hello, everyone. Preferred actor Humphrey Bogart or Marlon Brando?
Listen, Humphrey Bogart's iconic.
Yes.
He is.
And he's in my favorite movie of all time, Casablanca.
That being said, out of those two, there is one actor that actors actually study.
Yeah.
And that's Brando.
I 100% agree.
Yeah. I mean, again, not taking anything away from Humphrey Bogart. Some of the most iconic film moments of all time. Absolutely. But there's a reason actors study Brando.
Brando was an entire shift in what acting could be.
Yeah. Yeah, he changed the definition of acting.
Yeah.
For a lot of people.
Very
And
natural,
so-
which was not the case, you know.
Yeah, and if you want to see like how that was dramatized, go and watch The Offer.
Oh, yeah.
The thing, I think it's on Paramount Plus, where
is.
the series about how they made The Godfather.
Right.
It's
was great.
amazing. Anyway, but yeah, it's definitely Brando.
We got Jay Valen W. Hi, John. Why hasn't there been a remake of The Last Starfighter? Well, what's the holdup? I would think studios would be lining up for those rights.
Listen, for as long as I can remember, when anybody asks me the question, what's the one movie they should remake? It's been The Last Starfighter for me. Because, listen, I got some good guidelines. Like, I'm okay, remake everything. I don't care. But there are some good guidelines that tell you if a movie's a good candidate for a remake or not. Number one, is there a good chunk of the audience who hasn't seen the original? I think that's fair to say that a lot of people today have not seen The Last Starfighter. Number two, is it a story that translates well to a modern contemporary time? I would argue that the story of The Last Starfighter is more relevant today
Yeah.
than when it originally came out. An alien species actually puts out a video game to secretly test potential candidates to be starfighters, depending on how good they are at the game. That's more relevant today than ever.
Mm-hmm.
Criteria number three. Is it a movie who could truly take advantage of modern movie-making technology? Absolutely. Do you know The Last Starfighter, the original Last Starfighter, was the very first major Hollywood feature film to use CGI graphics?
Yep. And it looks like it.
And it looks like it. It looks terrible today. But, I mean, it's check. It is the perfect candidate. Why have they not greenlit it? Because they don't know if it can make any money. They don't know if it'll make any money. But they should. That's the movie. The Last Starfighter. That's it. That's the movie that should be remade. It's The Last Starfighter, and I hope they do it soon. All right, what's next?
We got Zodley. Hey, John, over under 15% chance we see a glimpse of our new Batman in Clayface.
Under. I really don't think they're going to do it.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't think we're going to get our first introduction to Batman as a cameo in somebody else's thing. I don't
Yeah.
think they're going to do it that way. All right, what's next?
Followed by The Batman. Hey, John, better Denzel performance, Malcolm X, Training Day, or Tragedy of Macbeth? Still think he should have won Best Actor for Malcolm X.
He could have.
Yeah.
But it was Macbeth.
Oh, you're saying Macbeth is the best performance?
I think that was his best performance. It's look, if you want to know if somebody's actually a good actor, give him Shakespeare. I know that sounds like it's painted with a broad brush, but it's true.
Did you see Much Ado About Nothing with Kenneth Branagh and actually Keanu Reeves is in it and Denzel?
You know, I did not see that one. No.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It came out in the 90s.
But this one, Macbeth, it was, oh my God. You want to see how good of an actor Denzel is? I mean, that's it. That's the one. So, like, to me, but again, I'm biased. I really do think that the true measure, if somebody's a really actually talented actor or not, give them Shakespeare and see how they do. And that's the actual litmus test, and Denzel crushed it.
King Kong ain't got shit on me.
We got a $20 from Aaron. Thank you so much. We've all heard of heroes breaking bad for Doom, but what about villains breaking good beyond the usual suspects like Loki or Magneto? Which true villain would you like to see turn good? I'm holding out for Ultron. I mean, we can't really talk much about it, but
yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna go into what, but if you want to talk about, to like take Doomsday out of it, I don't think Ultron's a good candidate for that. There's nothing really that much redeemable about him. A great villain to see,
and we've seen that with Loki already. Well, I guess he broke good, but he broke bad.
I mean, that's the beautiful thing about Loki, right?
Yeah.
Loki was never really even truly evil.
Yeah.
It was complicated. Like, that's the brilliance of that first Kenneth Branagh Thor movie. It was really a story about fathers and sons and expectations and living in shadows and in somebody else's shadow and all that kind of stuff. And
So once he gets to Avengers, he went evil.
But even that was more out of bitterness. You know, that was out of bitterness and spite. Whereas somebody like Ultron doesn't have those roots.
Yeah.
So it's hard to, it's a great question. I have to think about that more. All right, what's next?
Let's see. Nick De Tomaso says, I would love to see Denzel as the new Magneto. But regardless who they get, I think a great idea would be to make him from Sokovia and have him be a survivor of Sokovia genocide, tragedy, part 2. This way, if they wanted the option of connecting him to Wanda and Quicksilver, they could.
They could, but the events are not long enough ago. Like, whereas the events of like German concentration camps is now too long ago, I think Sokovia is one that's not long ago enough. So, and I think it makes it much more powerful to root it in something that is real life.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
You
That
root
crosses
it
over from this. Yeah.
in something that is real life. Whether that's Rwanda or whether that's Bosnia or whether that it's something like that. I think it becomes far more powerful if it's something rooted in our actual reality.
And we already had Zemo going bad over Sokovia.
Yeah,
so
100%. Yep, good point.
Chris says A-List is working overtime this weekend with Crime 101 Cold Storage. Good luck, don't die, or have fun, don't die. Goat and Scarlet, I can finally max out my weekly limit. Isn't that cool when that happens once in a while?
Yeah, especially now. It's tough to max it out now because now they've increased your offerings by like 30-some%. You now have 4 that you can do per week instead of just 3. You get 16 movies per month instead of 12.
Yeah.
So it's hard to max it out. So it's always good. That's a great feeling. Well, actually, it's kind of an annoying feeling still when I go to book a movie. As a sorry, you can't. You've already got all 4 of your spots booked. It's like,
The trick is to book on a Thursday, so Friday you get another opening.
Yes, exactly. All right, what's next?
That was actually it. I thought there was another one, but
All right. And guys, That'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here, making our little show part of your day. By the way, just so you know, we're going to do an open mic later tonight. So keep your eyes open for what time that will be on. It'll be later this evening. We're going to do an open mic tonight. So if any of you are going to be around and up and want to hang out for a little bit just to talk about movies and stuff, I'm going to invite you to come on back and join me. Keep your eyes on the channel for when I post what the start time on that will be. A big thank you to all you guys who sent in questions today. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it. And all of us involved with the show, thank you guys so very much for your support. So, for Robert Meyer Burnett, our technical producer, Jonathan Voico.
See you guys later.
My name's John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.